how to draw objects and their charges. Before we actually start doing the real work and understanding what's happening, I find it way easier to how do I in a standard way draw an object as positive, negative, or neutral. So in a neutral object, you have the same number of positives and the same number of negatives. In a negatively charged object, you add extra negatives. And in a positively charged object, you have less negatives, but you still draw 8 positives. Now, I'm going to go over each one. But first, just as a standard way of doing it, the way I find it really works is always draw 8 positive charges for any object. It makes it so you don't have way too many or way too few when you actually have to move them around later on. 8 is a good number that just is a good balance to draw. So I would draw, here's my object with a square box with 8 pluses. So let's do the first one first. How to draw a neutral object. So basically, all I have is I start off with 8 positives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it has 8 pluses. And because it's neutral, ends up with a 0 charge, it's going to have 8 minuses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Done. Now, if I'm drawing a negatively charged object, I again start with 8 pluses. Just pretend that, but you don't have to pretend. Protons can't move from the material. So let's just say every object has the 8 pluses. So I draw my 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Now, if it's negative, it has to have more than 8 electrons. I typically just add another 4. So let's say 8 plus 4 is 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now it actually has 4 extra electrons, so it's negatively charged. And finally, for a positively charged object, you start off with 8 pluses. You don't draw more pluses. You can't gain and lose pluses. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now it has to be positive, so it has to have more pluses than minuses. So let's just give it 4 minus, so it's less. So it's going to have a 4 minus charge. So I just draw 1, 2, 3, 4. This object is now positive because it has more pluses than minuses. This object is negative because it has more negatives than pluses. And this object is neutral because it has the same number of pluses as minuses. And all of them have 8 pluses. And again, the 8 is just a number I picked that tends to work out well for when we're moving and taking electrons later on. And that's how to draw objects.